Previously during the investigation.
These puppies are making me go to another town in the boondocks again.
I didn't think you'd keep me waiting in the rain for so long.
Welcome to Greenwood. I'm the sheriff, George Woodman. Call me George.
There's definitely something in this town. Do you feel it, Zach? My coffee warned me about it.
It's broken. I've been using that one for a long time.
Why didn't you get it repaired? This TV is important to you, right?
It's got some memories attached to it, sure. I used to watch movies on this thing with your grandma all the time.
Grandma liked movies?
Of course she did. Everyone loves movies, right?
I love movies too. I've never been to a movie theater though. York! York! Don't breathe. Hold your breath. They can't see you if you hold your breath. Hurry! Like this! Cover your mouth!
Who are you?
Zach, the symbolism in my dreams continues to intensify. A forest of red trees, a carpet with red leaves, a strange doll, and twin angels. But that child is what bothers me the most. I swear I've seen him before. I just can't remember where. Well, it'll probably come back to me eventually. For now, we need coffee. Let's head to the cafeteria, Zach. I hope they have some real coffee. I really need some coffee. Then we can head to the sheriff's office. There's a proper procedure for everything, right, Zach?
Good morning, Mr. Morgan. Your breakfast is ready for you.
Thank you, Mrs.
Polly Oxford. Just Polly is fine.
Well then. Thank you, Polly. I'm starving.
Is everything all right, Mr. Morgan?
Yes, it's delicious, Polly. My compliments to the chef.
I'm hoping my cooking will bring back repeat guests. Honestly, though, it's been a while since anyone has stayed here.
I couldn't help but notice. Aside from you and me, there seems to be no other guests or workers around.
What's that? The salt's in that white shaker there.
Thank you. I was wondering if there were any other guests or workers here.
Oh, no one else. My husband and I used to run this place, but he's in heaven now.
You've been working here alone since then. Must be hard by yourself.
Oh my, we're all out of pepper. I'm very sorry.
It must be difficult to run a hotel by yourself.
Well, yes, I suppose. I could just live on my pension, but I have to admit, running a hotel is kind of like a hobby of mine.
That's nice. Polly, it might help to hear you better if you could sit a little closer.
Oh my, Mr. Morgan, you're embarrassing me. So early in the day, too. I think I'm a little too old for you.
And I still love my departed husband. May God rest his soul. I appreciate the invitation, but I'm fine over here.
Polly, I can hardly hear you from all the way over there.
You're exaggerating. This is fine. It won't do to be all clumped together with such a large table and cafeteria. We have to make use of all this space. Now tell me, that wound on your face, what happened?
Let's just say I had some trouble during the last case I was working on. I'm sure it'll heal. It's just a flesh wound.
Oh my, well, there's no need to be the tough guy here. I want you to be able to relax here. I've prepared a special room for you. A famous rock star once stayed in the same room, you know.
Really? I feel honored.
If you need anything at all, just let me know. I'll help you out in any way I can.
Zach, the lady is offering to help. Do you want to ask her about the town?
Say, Polly,
What can you tell me about the town?
Well, let me see. You might know this already, but the town is called Greenvale. It rains here quite often, but it's a nice place, surrounded with nature. It was a big and prospering lumber town until not so long ago. We used to have a population of over 6,000 people. Less than a tenth of them left now. This hotel was built back then. We saw plenty of guests in those days.
That's why this place is so big for such a small community.
I have so many fond memories from back then. I suppose the clock on the community center is quite famous too.
Clock?
Oh yes, it's lovely. It rings in the morning and at night to let the whole town know the time. You'll hear it many times during your stay. It's a beautiful sound. And you'll love it too, I think.
I look forward to hearing it then.
Anything else you'd like to know about?
Yes, actually, Polly. Could you tell me about the shops around here?
Shops? Well, there aren't many. It is a small town, after all. You can do most of your shopping at the Milk Barn convenience store. The couple who run it are a unique pair. I'm sure you'll get to like them. The A&G Diner is a great place to eat. They might be open even if my kitchen is closed. If you want to go to a bar, there are two. The Galaxy of Terror and the Sweary 65. I don't care much for either of them. Bars are for the younger folk. We also have a gas stand, of course, the art gallery, and even a gunsmith. You should be able to find what you need.
Thank you, Polly.
Well, Mr. Morgan, I'd better start cleaning up. You just take it easy. I'll bring your coffee out in a moment.
Thank you, Polly. I have to warn you, though, I am very particular about my coffee. The very best you have, please.
I understand. I'll be right back with it.
Did you see that, Zach? Clear as a crisp spring morning. F.K. in the coffee. I knew I could count on it. Never fails. Now then, let's get going. There's always trouble heading my way in this job. But I'm always up for a little excitement, too. There's no theme park in this town, though. All that good luck is just slipping away. But I think I'll have a thrilling enough time right here anyway. So, my lucky number is 3 today. The first case I worked after joining the FBI had 3 victims. An unpredictable life is a wonderful thing. Cases may come flooding in like passengers at rush hour. White, is it? The hair of one of my coworkers turned completely white overnight due to stress once. Relaxing might be a good idea. My liver is a healthy pink. I wonder if drinking too much coffee would upset it. Drinking coffee is part of the investigation, after all. Sunglasses. Coffee and milk go together like John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, the Blues Brothers of the tabletop. I'd rather shoulder the weight of the world than eat pork and beans. I'd like to find a way out of eating that. Gold. I once caught a criminal who had gold front teeth. His mouth lit up like a neon sign when he laughed. What did they call him? Oh, right. They called him the Medalist. A cell phone. I lost my lucky item on the way into town then. This is a most ironic fortune. Here we are, far from civilization. Just who am I going to meet then? Of course, the one I really want to meet is the criminal. But I don't want to fall in love with him. Black reminds me of the lungs of a smoker. Lungs turn black by the smoke of cigarettes. All that cigarette ash leads to an early cremation. Ashes to ashes, indeed. What kind of lucky item is that? Last year, a man held up a bank with a bucket on his head. If he would have done it today, he might not have been caught.
24, is it? Sounds like Billy Milligan. Wonder what kind of man he was, with that many personalities. I'd like to have talked with him. Garlic. I'd like to eat some, but it might damage my chances of getting information from anyone. People would just turn away. I can hardly believe this result. Amazing! This is more than fortune. This is advice from the divine optimist himself. Not only does it taste great, but it also tells me so much. Coffee is truly the greatest drink known to man. Sunglasses. Coffee and milk go together like John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, the Blues Brothers of the tabletop. A police car. So we have King George to thank for preparing a car for me. A pleasant surprise, eh, Zach? Let's take it for a spin. I have to tell you, Zach, this place simply amazes me. The keys were left on the front hood, and nobody stole the car. Values. This town has what the country needs. Values. Let's head over to the sheriff's department.
So, Zach, about those bonus features in DVDs nowadays.
You know, the ones from the 80s have almost no bonus material. Even if they do, it's a trailer and the visual quality is pretty bad. Well, that visual quality is a good reminder of those days. So many new audio and visual appliances were coming out back then. Do you remember the first video deck we bought? We bought it to record one of the Star Wars movies on TV. And remember when that video store opened, we spent hours there, just trying to find a good movie to rent. There weren't that many to choose from back then. I remember renting some really bad ones after reading those back cover taglines. Hey, remember? Tomatoes, filmed in 1978. Produced, directed, written, and edited by John DeBello. It was really awful, but for some reason I still remember it pretty well. It had so many sequels, and the original was re-released in '95. The 87-minute long theatrical release bumped up to a whopping 90 minutes. But that was around the time I joined the Bureau. I never have a chance to see it.
I know, Zach. Once this case is over, we can watch it together.
I bet we can buy a copy on the internet pretty easily.
Speaking of 80s movies, one jewel in the rough springs to mind. Deadly Spawn. Do you remember that one, Zach?
Back in '83, directed by Douglas McCown. Right, it was filmed pretty cheap, but still it was pretty good. The monster design with the mouth crammed full of teeth, I loved it. So many delicious B-movie cliches. Did you know that they made a sequel? But I never got to see the sequel. The rental store didn't have it for some reason. They said the staff for the sequel was totally different from the original. I wonder how the sequel turned out. You know, the monster in that one responded to sound.
Wait, Zach. Sounds a lot like the movie Tremors.
I think that one was back in '89, directed by Ron Underwood. Now that was a great role for Kevin Bacon. Masterpiece.
Zach, that one had sequels like crazy. I remember there was a fourth one. I've only seen the first one, though. That's one fine building for such a small town. The exterior woodwork is spectacular. Don't you agree, Zach?
Pleasure to meet you, Agent Morgan. We've been expecting you.
I'm Thomas McLean, the sheriff's assistant.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please just call me York. It's what everyone else calls me.
Very well then, Agent York.
I believe I owe you a thank you for retrieving my belongings from my car. Thanks.
Oh, no, just doing my job. I want to help do everything I can to help the investigation. I just can't believe Anna was murdered. She was such a bright and lovely girl.
Did you know her well?
Well, no, not really. But it's a very small town. I'm sorry. It's just that this is the first really big case I've ever seen.
I understand. Just try to relax. Can I have a look at Anna's file now?
Yes, of course. The sheriff told me to let you through to the meeting room, but I've lost the key to the cabinet where the files are. Why don't you take a look around while I go look for it?
Okay. Let me know when things are ready.
Zach, Thomas appears to be the kind and sensitive type, totally at odds with the monarch. Almost a good setting for a cartoon. A raincoat? Doesn't look like it's been used much, even though it rains here pretty often. What waste of nice fabric, eh, Zach? Zach, there's a name written on this dumbbell.
Arnold.
I haven't met anyone by that name yet. Could it be the owner of this dumbbell? What do you think, Zach?
Hi.
George, do you work out every day?
Of course, Agent Morgan. Exercise keeps me healthy. I haven't missed a day since I started in high school.
Now that's impressive. Remind me to get more exercise, Zach.
But I can't do my full routine today without Arnold. I haven't seen Arnold around since yesterday.
Arnold.
He's a training buddy of mine. His partner Sylvester misses him too. If you see Arnold around, let me know, will ya? Can't finish my workout menu without him.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out for him. George, I found Arnold.
Really?
He was a bit hard-headed, but I got him to come back.
Oh, Arnold. Well done, Agent Morgan. Now I can work out using my normal workout menu.
Good to hear that.
Here's a little something to show you my appreciation. So that makes us even. I don't owe you anything, and you don't owe me anything. No changes to how we work together. Just bear that in mind.
Zach? He needs some friends who aren't so dumb.
You found the key.
I think so. Is this it?
You don't know your squirrels, do you? This isn't the right key holder. This is a Siberian flying squirrel. It's closer to a land-based squirrel. The Siberian flying squirrel is larger than the southern flying squirrel and has a standing tail while the southern has a hanging tail. But we're looking for a southern flying squirrel right now.
You sure do know a lot about squirrels.
You found the key.
I hope so.
No. This is a sugar glider. Sorry, wrong key. The sugar glider is a small gliding possum. It has shorter hair and a longer, column-like tail. You can really see its muscle definition on this image, can't you? But we're looking for a southern flying squirrel right now.
Zach, can you tell these things apart?
You found the key.
I hope this is the right one.
You found a Siberian chipmunk this time, have you? Sorry, wrong key.
A Siberian chipmunk?
This species lives in northern Japan on the island of Hokkaido. They're actually quite a popular pet.
So it isn't even a squirrel.
But we're looking for a southern flying squirrel right now. You found the key.
Is this the one you were looking for?
No. This is a gray squirrel. Sorry, that's not the key. Nothing particularly special about the gray squirrel, I'm afraid. You can find them in the US, Canada, and in England, too.
A gray squirrel. What was I thinking?
But we're looking for a southern flying squirrel right now. You found the key.
That's the right one?
Yes, a southern flying squirrel. Thank you so much. I'll bring the files right in, so please go to the meeting room.
Okay, I'll be waiting for you.
Well, Zach, we just got here and we've cracked a big case already.
The victim's name was Anna Graham. Age 18, she just recently graduated from high school this year. Her dream was to move out to the city and become a model. But for the time being, she was working in the A&G diner here in town. She lived with her mother, Sally. Anna's father died in an accident in the lumber mill when she was a child. Her mother is unemployed and lives on the insurance money from her husband's accident. After all, it's a small town with a low cost of living. Financially, they seemed to be fine, and they led normal lives.
A normal life is exactly what a curious teenager doesn't want.
It's all starting to make sense, Zach.
City folk, huh? No, I take that back. All of them can't be as bad as him. And some should have better manners.
Huh. This is a good biscuit. I've never tasted a biscuit this delicious.
Where in town can I get these?
Well, actually, I baked them myself.
That's amazing.
What are you doing in law enforcement? I'm very particular about biscuits, I'll have you know. The balance of milk and butter you've achieved here. Oh my.
Agent Morgan, the autopsy's ready. You are welcome to accompany me to the Greenvale General Hospital. Emily, you come too. Thomas, stay here and tidy up these files.
Yes, sir.
We're going to use the car outside. Let's get going. You might think this is just a small-town police investigation, but our inspections are thorough and solid. I'm hoping you won't slow us down. The Greenvale General Hospital is down the road by the lake. It's too far to walk. Come on, get in the car.
If I'm riding in a car, George, I prefer to be the driver. Can you provide a car for me?
What are you talking about? You don't even know how to get there.
Which is another good reason for me to drive, George. I need to learn my way around town.
Oh, man. Very well. Then I'll ride with you. I want to keep an eye on you.
Fair enough.
Just one thing, Agent Morgan. Your involvement in this case is limited. That means you don't have to learn your way around town.
George, we'd better get moving. The hospital closes at 2100.
Zach, we're heading for the Greenvale General Hospital. According to George, it's down the road by the lake. Zach, is there something here that you want to check out?
They told us to be there before 2100, but don't worry about that. Let's do whatever you want to do.
Zach, we're heading for the Greenvale General Hospital. According to George, it's down the road by the lake.
Tremors. I think Fred Ward was in it. You say Fred Ward, and I say Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. That one was back in '85, I think. Directed by Guy Hamilton. Guess Hamilton was aiming to start a series like 007, but it had no sequels. A real shame. Do you remember the martial arts they used in that film? Called Senanju? The ultimate in martial arts, using no weapons at all. Remo's master Chun ran across water, remember? And he loved soap operas. Man, that was a good character. He was played by Joel Grey, the best supporting actor in Cabaret. Of course, in Remo, he had so much makeup on you couldn't tell.
So, you're the talk of the town.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please call me York. That's what everyone always calls me.
The name's Keith. A pleasure meeting you, York. Sure is a big scar. It's bigger than I thought it would be.
So, Keith, I have a couple of questions about the incident.
Huh? Sure, fire away, man.
Did you know Anna Graham?
Yeah, of course, man. Poor little Anna. She was such a nice girl. I mean, what kind of sicko would do that to her?
Well, I'm here to catch that sicko. Listen, even the smallest piece of information might be useful to me. If there's anything you noticed or want to let me know, contact me.
Okay, will do, bro. You got my cooperation, FBI.
Another thing, I'll be frequenting your store during my stay here, so I'll see you around.
Sure thing, bro. We got what you need, so drop in anytime. Rock and roll forever.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. And you are?
Lily Ingram. My husband owns a convenience store, and we have 2 sons. I like to think that I'm just a regular wife in a regular family, aside from the point that our sons were the first witnesses to the crime scene.
You seem pretty calm considering their involvement in such a big murder case.
You think so? I'm glad to hear that. Anyway, if I looked all bleak and gloomy, I think it would hurt our business.
Agent Morgan, about that scar.
Lily, please don't call me that. Call me York if you can. People have been calling me York for a long time.
You're a silly one.
No, not at all. I'm just a regular special agent. So what were you about to say, Lily?
Huh?
About my scar?
I'm sorry. I seem to have forgotten. It's because you said something silly.
I see. Well, if you remember anything important, just let me know.
I will.
I'll probably be making use of your store during my stay here, so I'll see you from time to time.
Okay, I'll see you soon then.
Zach, we're heading for the Greenvale General Hospital. According to George, it's down the road by the lake. Zach, we're heading for the Greenvale General Hospital. According to George, it's down the road by the lake. Now, Joel Gray's daughter is, of course... That's right, Jennifer Gray. You knew that, right, Zach?
Jennifer Gray. She's in one of my most favorite movies, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 1986, directed by John Hughes. Huh, that one was so 80s.
Zach, you're not the most cheerful guy I know. But you really do like those cheerful movies.
We used to love those teenage movies back then, didn't we? Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink, St. Elmo's Fire, and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That last one was in 1982, directed by Amy Heckerling. Now that was an impressive film. You've got Sean Penn in the lead, with Jennifer Jason Leigh and Phoebe Cates. Not to mention Nicolas Cage and Forrest Whitaker were in it too. And the original book and the script were written by Cameron Crowe. How could that not be a great film?
Do you remember, Zach?
When that movie ended, the last words, "the end," was from an arcade game. That's right, it was from Missile Command. That stuck in my head for a while. The memories. I feel like I have a lot of movies to catch up on. Let's just hope we can get to the end of this case soon. Then maybe we can catch up on a few.
Give some thought about what movie you want to see next, Zach. Zach, we're heading for the Greenvale General Hospital. According to George, it's down the road by the lake. Okay, Zach. I've been thinking about what movie I'd like to watch next. And finally, I've made a decision.
It's always hard to narrow it down just to one movie, but I've put a lot of thought into this, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. 1975. Directed by Steven Spielberg himself. The grandfather of panic movies. Set in a small town in Massachusetts. That movie made me stay away from the beach for years. I was always afraid that a hand might come floating up. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah? It's Jaws. The underwater camera work, accompanied by that John Williams music. I'd never been that scared by a movie before. But the best thing about it is that it isn't just another panic movie. The mayor who won't close the beach even when there are so many victims. And Chief Brody putting the citizens' lives above all else. The film gave a lot of time to the dispute and friction between them. It certainly had a lot of messages for a 2-hour film. That's probably another reason why it was such a record-breaking hit. One of my regrets in life is that I didn't see it at the movie theater. I guess I was still just a child back then. But still, I wanted to taste that terror in real time.
That reminds me, Zach. Did you know this one?
Jaws also appears in another movie that was produced by Spielberg. The second Back to the Future. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who later made Forrest Gump. That's also a masterpiece, of course, but we'll discuss that another time. So, the scene where Jaws appears is right after Marty McFly goes through.
Oh, I've never seen you here before. You in town to see some sights?
What's your name?
I'm Gina. Folks call me the Rose.
I'm Francis York Morgan, FBI Special Agent. I'm investigating the death of Anna Graham.
FBI? Wow, how cool. And oh, I like that scar.
Do you have any info on Anna or any suspicious individuals?
I hate that complex stuff. Let's have a more simple conversation.
Simple.
Yeah. Do you want gas or not? Uh-huh.
Zach, is there something here that you want to check out?
They told us to be there before 2100, but don't worry about that. Let's do whatever you want to do.
Zach, we're heading for the Greenvale General Hospital. According to George, it's down the road by the lake.